to Suhtronics laboratory, and in today's edition we are going to be looking at block diagram and flow chart. What is a block diagram? A block diagram is simply a practical representation of a system. So looking at it, a block diagram should be an organized structure made up of more than one part. Then let's look at components of a block diagram. We have a rectangle, we have an arrow, then we have a sum. Then we have parts of a block diagram. We have inputs, we have the processor, we have outputs. You have a block diagram example like converting 12 volt to 5 volt using voltage division. Then equally we have an example of a good block diagram. Here we see how the input voltage is 12 volt and give it out 5 volt. This is an example of a well drawn block diagram. You see the sensors entry into the Arduino and the various outputs are showing to a buzzer, to GSM, to a smartphone. So here I'm going to show you some errors made when drawing a block diagram. Have the direction of arrow not touching the size and thickness, even the position. So this is an example of a poorly drawn block diagram. The size of the arrows are different and blocks not touching the arrows and the rest. Yeah, with these few points listed above, we can be able to see some errors when drawing a block diagram in order to make our block diagram come out better. Now I'm going to show example of a poorly drawn block diagram. For instance, if you look at this, we'll see that some arrows are bigger than others, arrows not touching each other. Then we see there how there are some even go right inside the box. So some of these bring some common errors that we make when drawing a block diagram and will not give us a good information about the block diagram. Therefore, block diagram in summary is just like expressing your idea in different blocks so that other engineers can understand. So when you look at this diagram up, we see a lot of errors. This may be a very small one, and many of us may make the error when we are drawing a very big block diagram. Okay, let's look at a flow chart. A simple systematic sequence of movement, how things are moving. That means maybe a flow of signal. The basic component one have the spherical shape, can represent as a start and a stop. We have arrow showing the direction I earlier seen. They will have a rectangle, yes, as earlier seen in the block diagram. So arrow and a rectangle, they are similar, they play similar function as in the block diagram. The difference here is that a rectangle here is used for processing, while arrow shows the direction as earlier mentioned. Then was the spherical shape for start and stop. Now we also look at other parts like a kit or a key-like shape can be used for decision, where you have a yes and a no on it. Then now we have a parallelogram. Yes, parallelogram can be used for input and output. Then we have the third more advanced basic is a circle. Yes, small circle which can be used to connect two block diagrams together. For instance, I can draw a block diagram on a sheet of paper and the sheet of paper is short. You want to continue, you can use this one and you must put the same letter on the two circles, showing that they are connected together. Okay, now let's look at an example. Yeah, example something like a twilight circuit. Here you can see a block diagram, maybe just having an auxiliary UNO and a relay module. Then that's a block diagram on the left. Then this is a flow chart. See that they are different. This one shows the start initialize variable. Check if there is light. If no, turn on the light and stop. If yes, you turn it off, then stop. Then down here we may desire to input intensity, then also have maybe turn off light as an output instead of a process. Some common errors made when drawing a flow chart is also similar like the block diagram. Maybe arrows not touching, the size are different, the thicknesses are different, even positioning. You cannot start with an input and instead put it at an output, or an output in the place of an input. So all this one makes them some of the common errors some of us may make when drawing a flow chart. This also applies to the block diagram as earlier seen. Now let's look at block diagram and flow chart comparatively. Basically both of them, you can see them as as hardware and software. When you look critically on a block diagram, you may see a block diagram as the hardware. Let it come and clear, and you see as hardware because showing the various blocks that are connected together, while a flow chart mostly show about the signal flow, how signal leave from one position to the other. So with this, we can be able to say that we have good knowledge of block diagram and flow chart, and we can draw them very well. That was an overview of block diagram and flow chart. We may see it subsequently. Thank you. In case of any question, you can put in the comment section. Hope to see you again.